Hey everyone, welcome to DevRunner. My name is Paul. I'm a certified running coach, and this is episode number 5 of Chasing PRs. This series follows the runners on screen with me as they execute training plans that I've designed to help them reach their racing goals this fall. I'll be sharing running tips and advice to help them and you become a faster, stronger, and healthier runner. So please like, comment, subscribe, and ding that bell so you get notifications whenever I post a new video. You can follow everyone on screen with me on Strava. Their links are in the show notes below. But before we get into it, I want to mention the video that I posted earlier this week, all about core strength routines for runners. That link is also below in the show notes, and I hope everybody gets a lot of value out of that. And then lastly, before we get into it with the guys, since these guys are all starting to build their long runs, I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to call one of my favorite run coaches and fellow YouTubers, India Cook, to talk more about long runs and race day fueling. So before we get into it, guys, I'm just going to cut to India and give her a chance to school us all. So here we go.
Hey, what's up, good people? It's India from Miles from India. Just to give you a couple thoughts on long run and race day fueling. Usually I break those down to 3 different areas. So you're thinking about your carb loading, which is your pre-meal or weeks leading up meal, as well as your pre-run meal or snack, and also your during the run in nutrition that you may end up ingesting. So when it comes to carb loading, you want to ensure, depending upon the distance that you are running and whatever your long run or race may be, you want to ensure that you're carb loading a week up, not just the night before the run. You want to ensure that you're giving your body enough time to break down those carbs and push them into energy. A lot of times I like to tell people to do your carb loading, the breakfast, the day before the run. So that gives your body 24 hours to break that food down into energy. Now you want to ensure that you're not ingesting anything that is unfamiliar to your body. When it comes to pre-run nutrition, if you're doing a long run, I like to definitely suggest an hour and a half to 2 hours before your run. If you're going to do oatmeal or something big, you definitely want to at least give yourself an hour. If you're doing a smaller thing like peanut butter toast or bagels with banana as well as peanut butter, you want to give yourself time to be able to digest, use the restroom if you need be. But it's very important for a long run or race that you are getting a breakfast in, and also, of course, hydrating. Now, when it comes to during the race nutrition, you want to ensure that you are staying ahead of the energy, which that means is even if you don't feel like you need the fuel or nutrition, you want to get it in so that you're not crashing and trying to stuff down nutrition to get the energy that you need. So every 30 to 45 minutes, depending upon the effort and your body, you may want to ingest some kind of gel, or you can do whole foods, something like pretzels, gummy bears, things of that nature that you can actually take on your run and take them in. The biggest thing when it comes to nutrition and fuel is that you want to ensure that you are figuring out what is best for your body. Nothing new on race day, nothing new on long run day, unless you are in a training block and you are able to get some assistance if it doesn't work out for you, but ensure that you're practicing it, figuring it out, and enjoy.
All right, thank you, India. And guys, let's just get right into it before we waste any more time. Jack, I'm going to start with you this week. And I know it was a down week mileage-wise for both you and Michael in your half marathon training, but please walk us through your week. Tell us what the highlights were, how the speed days and the long run went.
Yeah, well, this past week, I was fortunate enough to hit part 2 of summer vacation, this time with my in-laws up. They live up on the New Jersey shore, actually, near Point Pleasant, Mount Seaside Heights, in between there. So if you guys are familiar with that area. So I took yet again advantage of some really nice flat terrain for this down week, along with some lower humidity levels up there. While you guys were all roasting in the south, we had the jet stream kept us nice and cool up there. So particularly on those Tuesdays and Thursdays, when we did the strides on Tuesday and surges then on Thursday. So really honed in on those 2 days and kind of zone in during those workouts. Felt really good. You know, we've been doing here in this series, we've been doing the 6 miles with strides intervals for quite some time now. But really, you know, welcome the chance to get the surge, putting those half mile surges in on Thursday. And so again, just like with that, really trying to work up to what that optimal surge pace is. You know, that was really the first time we've done that. So, you know, each one for the first couple ones was a little different until I kind of just got into a little bit of a zone with
gotcha.
that, and kind of found that optimal, or at least trying to find that optimal stride, and you know, what's it feeling like, and keeping everything all connected from the mind to the legs. And so so I felt good with that. You know, I was, you know, the time wise, I think with the strides and the surges, I think I was in the 720s
Awesome.
overall. So that felt pretty good for the 6 miles.
Now that's great. I just want to point out, I'm
Yeah.
really happy with the times that you posted there, because just to remind everybody, you and Michael currently are, in order to hit your 135 half marathon goal, you need to maintain 7:15s, I believe, per mile. So to see you with, you know, mind you, you said it was a little cooler up that way, but nonetheless, you know, you were like moving pretty much at heat adjusted half marathon pace. So good for you.
And it felt good. It you know, because really right now, you know, I'm really trying to pay attention to, okay, what's it feeling like during it, and then after, how fast is the body able to recover? You know, really going into taking a lot of lessons learned on the slower runs as well. You know, Michael's been congratulating me for running slow the last couple times, and it's you know, and it's really like my brain knows what I need to do, but it's just getting my legs into that mindset. So I'm very happy that, you know, I've been able to adjust to that better, and you know, I'm feeling better mornings of, you know, it's less ibuprofens in the morning these days. So I always take that as a good sign. So and just to wrap up, guys, I had a travel day on Saturday, so I had to move the long run until Sunday. It was a 13-hour drive back from our New Jersey, so I was quite tired, needless to say, Sunday morning. So I did my first long treadmill run. So I did the 8 miles on a treadmill, because it was just too blazing hot at 1 p.m. here yesterday.
Yep.
And so did that. You know, kept it in optimal pace, 8 minutes a mile or higher, which is what we were trying to hit for that aerobic. And so that felt good today to do the kickoff this week. And you know, we'll see how this week progresses. But right now, everything is feeling relatively good.
Yeah, I'm so happy to hear that, Jack. I think, you know, I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but it's only because you guys are all doing so incredibly well with these training plans. You're just blowing my mind. I mean, you're coming back consistent, and you're just doing what you need to do. So I've got no doubts you guys are going to just kill on race day. You know, not to put any more pressure on you, but I know what you guys want, and you're well on your way. So well done. And Michael, before I go to you to talk about your past week, I do want to make an apology to you and Jack, because I did not do a good job of telling you guys the details of what I expected out of you from surges in your runs. I did talk afterwards with Michael, but I didn't get the news to Jack in time. So going forward, whenever you guys see surges over the next couple of weeks, I'd love to see you guys attempting to hit heat adjusted tempo pace on those surges, because what I'm trying to do is ease you out of strides and prepare you for track work. And sort of the bridge to that is giving you these half-mile distances in the middle of a run, where you got to really actually start picking up the pace pretty good, so that you're kind of used to that by the time you get to the track for those longer intervals. So with that said, Michael, how did the last week go for you?
Yeah, so thanks, Paul, for clarifying that. I did want to talk about that a little bit. Well, the week was pretty tough for me. My whole family wound up sick, and we were not getting any sleep. But I did power through the earlier runs in the week. The strides went well, and then on to the 6 miles on Thursday with the surges. I did all my mileage on the treadmill last week.
Gotcha.
But one thing I guess like I took note of whenever I did the surges was, you know, pretty much easy pace. And then for the surge, I ran it at Right at half marathon pace. So
Gotcha.
that's like 7:13 a mile.
That's
And
perfect. Yeah, I mean, considering I didn't give you, the details until it was too late, I appreciate you making a well-educated guess at what was expected there.
yeah, so I mean, I probably could have ran it just a little bit faster, but one thing that was encouraging to me after, or I noticed as I was running those, my heart rate, was about where I felt it should be.
Mhm.
And then my average heart rate for the run was still fairly low considering I had ran a mile and a half at, at race pace.
Yeah,
So I was encouraged by that after the run.
that's great to hear. That's great to hear because, what that points to for me is all the work you did before we even officially started this training block, because you did a lot of work just kind of building your base, Michael, at easy paces. And I think when what you just spoke of reflects the fact that you've been doing a lot of mileage work. So hats off to you. I mean, and to be able to talk about such positive results on a week where you were not feeling your best, that's just, you can't ask for more. I mean, I keep saying it. I just keep on saying it, but you guys are just destroying. I'm literally, I think of you guys when I'm just going about my day, and it puts a smile on my face because I see you guys just doing everything you need to do. So yeah, Michael, just finish off your week. I know it got a little rougher as things went.
Pretty much the whole family was sick, and then I sort of came down with it. So I ended up skipping my long run. Got some, walks in, but other than that, nothing crazy. Just trying to get sleep whenever I could.
Yeah, that's the big thing. If you're feeling bad, don't go out there and push yourself like that. Just take the rest that you need. And like I was saying before we started recording, if you had to get sick, this was like the best time you possibly could have gotten sick, because it was a down week. It was an easy week. It would have been an aerobic run, not sort of a progression run where you're trying to hit some very important paces. So I don't think one long run is going to affect you in any kind of negative way. So don't sweat that. Don't sweat that. Go into the new week, just hitting it hard as you can as you start to feel better. So great news, Michael. Great news.
Thanks, Paul.
So, all right, Joel, let's move on. Joel is the one man on screen who is training for a full marathon, and he hopes to hit a 3:20, which is will give him a Boston qualifying time. And not to spoil the surprise, but Joel continues the trend that Jack and Michael have set this week of just putting up some impressive runs. So Joel, take it away.
Okay, thanks, Paul. So Tuesday, I went back to the track. There were I had some improvements with my lap times. So improvement on the 800 meters, 1600 meters. So there were two 800 meters, a 1600 meter, and then two more 800 meters. So
yeah, and please share the details. I mean, if it doesn't bother you to share those details, I would love to hear. I'd love for the viewers to hear the kind of numbers you're posting.
Sure. The numbers, I mean, I don't know. So this track work is kind of new to me. I have done a little bit of it. I haven't really closely monitored what my times are, other than, I've done it 2 weeks in a row and I've seen an improvement. So this week, just for a reference, tomorrow I'll have another track day. So maybe there'll be an improvement there as well. But the first 800 was a 3:10. The second 800 was a 3-minute 12-second. 1600 was a 6-minute 43. And then the third 800 was a 3:19, a bit slower. And the fourth was a 3:16. So for me, there's a few things happening on the track. One, it's kind of a strange sensation for me to be on a track.
It's definitely a different feeling when you're used to the mashing hard tarmac of the roads.
Well, there's that. There's the actual foot. You're right. This is a beautiful track. This is a high school. It's kind of relatively close to where I live. The track is beautiful. For me, it's more just I can't put my finger on it. but for one thing, the pace is unusual for me. I kind of have almost like an out of body, a little bit of an out of body feeling.
Oh,
right?
yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it's just, I'm trying to, I run with a buddy. I ran with a buddy, and he's an accomplished marathoner. He's training for Berlin. He's considerably faster, but he was watching me, and he thinks I'm losing. I forget how he worded it, but he thinks I might be losing focus when I'm, whereas for him, the track is a core, training tool that he uses, and he's very focused on what he's doing. His times are like if he sets out for a time, he's within 1 second of
Yeah,
time.
but dude, there's a point that I made to you last week, and just for the sake of trying to keep our video to a watchable length, I did some pretty heavy editing. But a point that we talked about last week that I want to make sure the viewers get the advantage of hearing is that the first time you do anything, that's like introduction phase. Second time you hit it, that's an improvement phase. And that's where you're at, because this is your second time to the track. You can't compare yourself to the guy that you're running with, who's been to the track probably hundreds of times and should, at this point, if he wasn't able to dial it in like that, you'd be thinking there's something wrong with this guy. He's not paying attention. But by the time tomorrow morning hits and you're going to the track for the third time, you will see improved times on all of your intervals. But what you're going to notice in weeks 4, 5, 6 and onwards is the variance, the mean is going to start compressing to this small little window where, you're always going to be within 2 or 3 seconds, and you will start to see that average come down because you're getting stronger. But still, the variance from one interval to the next is going to be very, very minor. The same thing happened to me, because keep in mind, I never did track stuff until about a year ago was my first experience. And it took 5, 6 weeks before I was like kind of dialed in. So
Well, so it's just a very different mindset as well. Like, when I run, I kind of do zone out a little bit. I physically, I kind of know my pace and I know what's happening, but my mind kind of wanders a bit. And on the track, when you have to focus on what you're doing, it's painful too, because you can't, your breathing is, and I don't want to be mindful of how much discomfort I'm in, but so it's a very different, it's a different thing. And I'm enjoying it, and we'll, I'll keep working on it. So that was last Monday, and I've got, like I said, I have that, last Tuesday, and I have that same workout tomorrow. So just moving on quickly. So Wednesday was a 16K aerobic run. So 16 kilometers, and that is, Paul, help me. Oh, I guess that's a 10 miler, right? 10 miles?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've got my other screen off, but bear with me a moment, I'll have it up.
But that's 10 miles.
Yes, you're correct.
At an aerobic pace. And it was a good pace. And, the pace was very consistent and actually improved over the course of the run.
Yep.
A lot of stuff.
And really enjoyed seeing that.
Yeah. And there was a lot of suffering. I can't understate the suffering, but, it just felt like, that it was a good day. It was a good day, a good run.
Yep. Now, what you're going to start to see, I don't know if you've noticed the pattern, Joel, but just to point it out to people, the way I like to structure marathon training plans is that Tuesdays are speed days, Wednesdays are middle long distance days. So what you're starting to see now is that your Wednesdays are going to start to lengthen out. Because that should be the second longest run of the week for you. That should be, and coming fresh off of a speed day, it should be pretty painful. By the time you get to Thursday, when you get your easy day, your first easy day after 2 hard days in a row, you should be like, oh, thank God. So Thursday was basically an easy day, a recovery day, and I did enjoy that. But you gave me a bit of, I was trying to go slower. I don't know why. I was just naturally faster than I should have been. Yeah, well, I mean, it's great that you had the juice to be able to do it, but it's, you know what I mean? For that day, it's great. It's very impressive on the day, but I don't want it to screw up what's coming later down the line.
because the Friday was it was an 11K run with 6.5K tempo. So that's a hard run.
Yeah, that's a demanding day.
And I was nervous about it, and I was a little bit sore, and I was like, what have I done to myself with this? My easy run, I just messed it up.
Yeah.
But anyway, the run turned out great. Again, I was very happy with the 6.5 tempo portion of the run. At the end of the run was exactly what I wanted it to be. So that was great. Saturday, I didn't do the easy run. I was up north. I did a hike, 10K hike. So that was kind of a nice.
As long as it's keeping the muscles moving and keeping the juices flowing, then I say awesome.
Okay, awesome. And then Sunday, and I was really nervous about this, and it was a 29K,
which
I
18
think
miles.
18 miles aerobic. The course, I was up north again. It's quite hilly. I started off, it was the forecast called for rain. It did not rain. It didn't rain. It looked like a lot of rain. And I was, okay, I guess we're going to have to grind this out in the rain. It didn't rain, but it was cool. Very, very cool. And I just started off, and I knew what was coming. It's a long, long run by myself. And I just started off, pretty slow. And again, towards the end of the run, I was kind of surprised by how good I felt. And I just picked it up just a little bit and finished the run. I'm very happy with that run.
Yeah, and you should be. I mean, I studied that thing in detail once it hit Strava, and it wasn't, I wouldn't call it a classic progression run. There was a little bit of up and down, and I figured that was probably due to terrain. But it looked, I didn't do the math in detail, but it looked to me like, even though it wasn't a progression run, it was definitely a negative split run, which, I mean, it just blew my mind, because I was sitting there thinking to myself, I didn't share it with you last week, but I was thinking, this is probably going to be the toughest week for Joel, because he's got to up his mileage to 18 miles, even though it's an aerobic run and not a progression run. He could walk away from this feeling kind of broken. So, man, for you to come through that run that strong, like I said, with the two guys who are on, I already spoke to on screen here, Jack and Michael, all three of you guys just killed it this week. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm all smiles. It's just like, well, I feel like I just got to hand, it's a weird situation for me as a coach. It's like, here, hand these three guys the plans, and they're just going to kill it. I feel like I don't have to do all that much. So, but
right.
I mean, hey, if my job from here on out is just going to be going rah, 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 I'm happy to do it. You guys are just doing a great job. So,
I was delighted with it, but immediately upon finishing, my anxiety started kicking in about next Sunday's run.
Yeah, you guys are all going to have a tough one next week, that's for sure. Let's see, just to look ahead really quickly, because I know we're running out of time here with Zoom. Joel, you're looking at a 20 miler with 8 of those miles at marathon pace, and Jack and Michael are going to be looking down the barrel of a 33-mile week, but the Saturday long run for them is 11 miles with 3 miles at half marathon pace. But I have no doubt in their ability to hit that, because Michael, you killed it with your surges on the treadmill last week. And Jack, you're just like a complete speed demon. So I do not worry about that with you. I don't want to get cut off in the middle of this conversation, so I'm going to throw it at you guys very quickly here. Any comments that you guys have for each other? Any questions you have for me? Send them my way now.
No, you guys are doing a great job. I'm enjoying following you on Strava and seeing your progress. So
yeah, I'm jealous of the temperature that Joel gets to run in on a daily basis while we're down here. Just
down here. Yeah.
I detected that in one of your comments, Michael. In my, you're like, that's a strong run, but it was
strong run in the cold, buddy.
I know.
Yeah,
I feel for you guys. I would not be able to perform like this in the heat that you guys are in. I don't know. I mean, I think I think we adapt, right? Like,
Yeah.
of course you would come here, there would be no adaptation. You would just fly because it's, nice and cool.
It'd be like it was October down here suddenly. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So that's why we do a lot of runs, or myself and Paul. Jack runs outside mostly, but Paul's on the treadmill almost all the time. And
Oh,
I
yeah,
do during
100% of the
week, so-
time.
But you can't, to go outside though, you have to get it done by like 7 a.m. or like you're cooked. I mean, literally and figuratively. I mean, it is. Sunday, I walked the dog. I took the dog out like at 6:30, and the humidity was just so overbearing. I was like, there is not a chance I'm going to suffer this today.
Well,
And
keep
having
in
said
mind-
that, though, I was just going to say, Paul, the runs that you do on that treadmill,
Oh, you're flying.
I mean, first of all, good job at Proform to build the machine that can withstand that kind of mileage. But secondly,
I'm hoping it's going to hold up.
I have spent so long, like, winters and things on a treadmill, and it is, I don't know how you do it mentally. It is.
I'm with you.
It's tough.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to defer to Michael as the treadmill expert of this group, because I do not want to get on the subject matter of my running. There is a new, just to give everybody a heads up, there is a new series that's going to be starting up next week on my channel. That's going to be following my marathon training. So I do not want to take up your guys' time talking about me. But with that said, guys, let me say it again. You're killing it. I'm so proud of you. We'll check in next week after you guys kind of have a bit of a harder week on your hands this coming week. So we'll check in and see how you're feeling then. But all the best wishes to you. And thanks again for participating. And I'll catch you in a week. Thanks a lot. And
Awesome.
Everybody who's watching, get healthy, stay strong, and keep pushing. You can do it. I'm looking forward to seeing you again next week. Bye-bye.